right, we're on Orlah, Perak Bet, Mishnah Tet Zayin, Mishnah 16th Mishnah in the second chapter of Orlah. Until now, we've been discussing a machloket between the Chachamim and Rabbi Shimon, and this is based on, we'll just take you back there, because I've been taking you back there the whole time, based on a machloket, whether shemot are mitzdarfim. If you have isurim, different isurim together, okay, and they're not, each one is not enough, can I combine different isurim in order to make tam, that's issur? Chachamim say yes, isurim are mitzdarfim. Rabbi Shimon says isurim, different types of issur are eina mitzdarfim. Let's go back to our Mishnah. I keep having to scroll because the Mishnah keeps going back to the same topic. But now we're talking about a different case. Let's say I have a big pot of stew of chulin, okay, and I have different types of meat. I have meat, let's say, for example, of kachim, from an animal that was slaughtered, let's say, that was slaughtered on the Mizbeach, and it's totally mutter, or korban chatat, and the Kohen gets to eat it. The Kohen has to eat it, take it to the Beit HaMikdash and make meat stew. So in the Beit HaMikdash, they're making their meat stew. So the Kohanim are perfectly permitted to put their, well, let's make this kachim, because it's nice and holy looking, to put their Kodesh meat in the stew. Okay, then, but if they're making meat stew, and now they want to serve it to other workers who are not Kohanim, they want to serve it to a non-Kohen who's there. Let's say they put in the meat stew, and it's not enough. It's a huge pot, they put in a tiny amount of meat. It's still, so if it's batel, it's not tasteable, then it's still mutar. Okay, but now, but what happens if I put in this, but I also put in a different kind of issur, a different meat that's also issur from a different reason. So now that's the topic of our Mishnah. It's very similar to previous Mishnah that we've learned. It says the Mishnah, Chaticha kachei kachim, a piece of meat that's kachei kachim, holy of holies, i.e., it's from a korban, or shel pigul. Pigul is, let me just get this correct, pigul is when the Kohen is slaughtering the animal for the purpose of a korban, we're going to learn it in the kachim, he thought at the time of the shechting that he's going to offer the korban after the time that the korban is no longer able to be offered. I.e., if the korban is kosher for a night and a day, he says, I'm going to now, and when he's doing the shechita, I have no idea why a kohen would do this. That's an interesting halacha pigul. But while he's shechting it, he's thinking, I'm going to offer on the mizbeach this korban after it's no longer edible, after 2 days from now. Or notar, or as we know, let's say, for example, korban Pesach, it's only kosher the night of Pesach, and afterwards it's on notar. It's left over, and therefore it's pasul, it's not kosher. Nobody can eat it. They have to burn it. So, in my big pot, I have a piece of kachei kachim, and a piece of pigul, or notar, one or the other. Shinit bashlui machetichot. So it was cooked together with all these pieces of meat. There we go. Cooked with all the pieces of meat. So I have kachei kachim, and I have notar. And obviously, or this is pigul. I don't know why I made pigul blue. But this and this, or this together and this together. Okay? So I have these together. And as we've said before, individually, each one of these is not enough to be tasteable. It's a small amount of meat in a very large pot. But together they are tasteable. Okay? So the bashluim achatichot, okay, as the Bartuner explains, like we've said, yesh bechulin k'dei lebatel et kachei hakachim b'fnei atzmam. Okay? And pigul, okay, the chulin has the ability to be mevatel, to overwhelm kachei kachim on its own, or pigul, notar, v'tameh. It's interesting, there's no tameh in here, so it seems the Bartuner had a different version. Okay, it's enough to be mevatel one of these, but not enough to be mevatel both. So we're back to our famous question, are shemot mitzdarfim? The Mishnah says, asur lezarim, u'metar lekohanim. They are mitzdarfim. So therefore it's asur lezar. Why? Because one of these is truma. Truma together with pigul, for example. So either one, both truma and pigul, are asur to the zar. The truma is mutar to the kohen. So therefore, this is batel, and this remains. But they are mitzdarei for the zar. So therefore, asur lezarim, it's asur for the non-kohen. Umutar lekohanim, but it's permitted for the kohen, as we've said. Rabbi Shimon matir lezarim lekohanim. Rabbi Shimon also follows his logic. He says, Shnayim ushlosha shemot mimin echad. Okay, mitzdarfim, ein mitzdarfim. What do you mean mitzdarfim? Here they ein mitzdarfim. Okay, 2 or 3 shemot isurim from the same meat. It's the same meat, the same cow, the same piece of meat. Ein mitzdarfim. Therefore, it's permitted. This is batel, and this is batel separately, even though they're the same kind of meat. They are not mitzdaref. And therefore, mutar lezarim v'kohanim. We will stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, email me at artsmolter@gmail.com. Dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, of Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.